The sunlight was perfect like 30 seconds ago. Hi everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please think about sticking around, liking, commenting, and subscribing. For all of you who are brand new, I really hope that you can do that, not just for me, but other people, because that is a free, awesome way to help us out. Everybody else, thank you for being on this journey with me. We're getting closer to 100 every day. I appreciate every single one of you. So, just a quick note. Yes, I'm not normally in this background. I actually am holding my phone today. I have had I haven't been here for about 2 weeks, and I apologize because I've had some people asking, and I have not been well. I had a very huge medical event happen, and I'm still recovering. So I'm doing this from the comfort of my bed right now. So yay. But we're just gonna get right to it. I'm going to be doing the continued part of Patsy Ramsey, the reading, the channeling. If you have not seen that first part, I honestly don't remember what I said in it. Every channeling video I don't. But I'm going to put it up in the cards here. Otherwise, you'll be able to find it on my channel. So I want to tell you that I had a kind of new information as far as research. Now, again, I grew up on this case. I literally grew up on this case. This is something that has been going on almost as long as I have been alive. And that's insane. It is a cold case, and I think eventually it will get solved, but I don't know if it will ever be public. I don't think it will ever be publicly solved. So I watched the documentary on, oh, it was one of the Discovery channels. I just got Discovery Plus and I flippin' love it. It was the documentary about John Benet Ramsey done through Lou Schmidt, I believe Detective Lou Schmidt, who has passed away, his files. And it was a very interesting take. And this whole situation, this whole series was done strictly from the view of him and his work. And as a very credible, amazing detective, I want to give him and his family 100% props on this and the continued passion, because he was a heck of a person and a very good man. The only problem I see here is his insistence that a parent would never do this to their child. And unfortunately, history has taught us much differently. And I'm not even saying about the Jean Benet case. There have been many cases where parents do horrific, awful, disgusting things to their children. Not just murder, but it is a horrible, horrible things. But yes, parents are extremely capable of killing their own children. They are very capable of putting them through the most psychological and physical torture that you can possibly get. And I think that's just a little bit of a naive statement that he made, but it was the theme of this whole series that was, well, of course, a parent wouldn't do this to their child. You're thinking the average person wouldn't do that. And most likely you're right, but there are some very horrific people out there in every walk of life. And I want to make that abundantly clear that um, just because you have a background where you are extremely rich or extremely poor, it doesn't matter. If the person has that capability, they're going to do it for the most part. And it doesn't matter your background. This is kind of the problem, because the economical background of the Ramseys was quite significant. And I do believe that there is an intruder or an outsider that was part of this, but I still don't think the Ramseys are innocent. I don't necessarily think that she was murdered by her mother or her father, but I do believe she was murdered by an associate of her father. I don't, because I've been trying to channel Patsy, and like I said before, Spirit is under no obligation to talk to us ever. And she's lightened up a little bit after I have seen this. I don't know why. Maybe because she wanted me to see a different perspective. Do I think that Patsy Ramsey was capable of being a brutal person and murdering her child the way that it happened? No. Do I think she's capable of covering it up? Absolutely. And when we talk about the ransom note, which everybody says it's extremely strange, and the whole situation is very strange. But as far as the length of the note, I have done another video about Charles Lindbergh's son being kidnapped, and we'll put that up here somewhere. Um, his ransom notes, plural, were pages and pages and pages full of demands and strange writings and things like that. So there are famous cases where ransom notes were huge. I believe that Patsy Ramsey wrote that note under duress. She dissociated herself away from a situation. This is not something that she wanted to do. She didn't want to sit down and write this damn note. She didn't want anything to do with this, but she had to. She was under a threat. And I honestly believe at that point she did not care about her own life. She cared about the life of her living child, Burke. I really do. And this way, when she says she did not write that note, Patsy Ramsey did not write that note. Somebody else. She dissociated herself so far from the situation. She physically wrote the note, but somebody else made her. She didn't come up with all of that on her own. Some of it she did, especially the movie quotes, because that was such a strange note. It literally was like listening to Speed, the movie Speed, like, don't grow a brain, and, telling you vile, disgusting things about executing your child. That note should not have existed in the first place. Why? Because if there actually were kidnappers, why did they murder her in the basement and then leave her there? They would have still tried to get her out of the house and get money. Most likely. I mean, I'm speaking like whoever had logic and common sense, and you are thinking quickly in a very bad situation. None of it was the way that it was, though. I mean, she is showing me that this is a staged show. This is something that she had to go into. This was literally staged, like she would get ready for a pageant. And as a pageant person, she put on a different persona. She was not Patsy, whatever her name was before, pre Patsy Ramsey, Patsy Single Woman. I can't remember her maiden name. I'm so sorry. She was not Patsy Ramsey, you know, young woman, West Virginia graduate. She was a pageant girl. She was a creation. She is something different on stage. So when this whole thing happened with Jean Benet, she went into stage mode. She went into being the model of what a grieving mother should be. She does also want me to remind you that she was sedated or on heavy medications during all of these interviews. These interviews that were on, like Larry King, and all these interviews that people are bringing up now that said that she seemed like she was out of her mind. She was out of her mind. She was out of her damn mind and crazed grief, but she was also on medication. And she's opening up now. She's telling me, how in the world would you react if you lost your child and you had to go in front of cameras and look into people's faces and answer horrific questions about what happened to your child, and people accusing you of doing it? I look in the mirror every day and I see a face of someone who's been accused of a murder. She doesn't consider herself a murderer, but she doesn't consider herself innocent either. And as I said before, she kind of willed the second cancer back into her life as self punishment. And people have done that. I'm not saying with cancer, but people have willed sickness into their life as a form of punishment. You can manifest illness and you can self loathe and get yourself to a point where you have made yourself weak and you are allowing things to get into you. And I feel like she literally allowed the cancer cells to be reactivated. I do believe she would have eventually died from cancer, but I feel like she would have made it older. She probably would not be alive today, but I think she would have died in the past 3 years, as opposed to, yeah, I think it was in the 2007. Again, it's been a while since I did this other channeling with her, but she's talking now. She's saying something about a landslide. Um, mm, it's like everything collapsed at once. It was very much a landslide. And if you actually look, you do need to follow the money with this particular situation, because there were payoffs that were happening in small amounts. So if you ever got the Ramsey's financial records, you would see minor payments. I mean, I'm talking like less than $100 to people that you wouldn't blink an eye at. It's not like, several $1,000s were, every month Jim got $1,000 or $3,000. It was every month Jim got, $35. You can pretty much pass that off as anything. And I really do feel that there is truth in financial records that were missed and were very purposely done. But I also feel like there was a threat of a loss of a huge amount of money. I mean, massive amount of money. It would have broke them. And it had nothing to do with Patsy. It didn't. It was due to her monster. Her husband is a monster. Um, she never knew. She knew, but she didn't. She turned a blind eye to it. I still feel like their marriage was arranged. And I know that's odd to say. I don't think like, you know, A and B got together, like parents and arranged a marriage, like love at first sight type thing. I think they had a deal brokered for some reason. Dark shit there. She keeps telling me that it felt like a dream. It was all a dream. None of it was real. it was all a dream. And if I kept going like this, then I'd wake up. She wants you to know that I was right. Thank you. Um, that she did not go to bed that night. She would not have gotten up and put on the same exact clothing that she had the night before. In fact, there are videos of previous Christmases where it shows she would have either been in a different type of outfit or possibly even her pajamas like like the children. There's somebody that worked at the house that knows all this too. There's somebody that worked at the house that um knows a good amount, but I don't necessarily think has enough knowledge to do anything about it because there's no proof. Um, I am not going to go any further on that because that person is still alive. I don't even want to give a gender or anything like that because that person is still alive and very well could be in danger today. Um, Patsy is telling me that there were guards outside of her house. Like she's actually physically putting in my mind, like in a castle where you would have stereotypical guards, like knights, in their armor. That's what she tells me that happened. That she couldn't leave her room, that Burke couldn't leave his room, but John was not there, and Jean Benet was not there. It was like they were being guarded in the castle, which is so freaking weird. It's so dreamlike. And okay, we're just gonna go with it. She tells me that there was a lava going down the hall. Like every step that you took burned. Every step burned. And as she got closer and closer to her door, and I'm assuming it's a bedroom door, but I don't know. But she knew what she was going to find on the other side of that door. And everything in her didn't want to open it, but she had to because she was burning. It was. I'm feeling a gloved hand over my mouth. So I feel like somebody came up behind her and put their hand around her mouth to stop her from screaming. There were at least 8 people in the household that day. Again, the murder timeline is not right. Um, there's a huge chunk missing, and I still don't believe she was killed in the house. And Patsy's kind of giving me that she wasn't. Like, yeah, she's agreeing with me. She wasn't. Um, there's 8 men in the house outside of the 3 of them who are alive. So outside of Patsy, Burke, and John, and John Benet's body. Now, I think that's what she found outside of her door was her child. She knew this was going to happen. She just thought it was a dream. And something went wrong. She was not meant to be killed that day. High Holy Holiday, what's that? I know she was killed on Christmas, but that's not the High Holy Holiday that we're talking about here. Okay. He was definitely involved in the upside down. I'm just going to put it that way. Um, This was a high holy holiday, but not for Christians and not for a not for the traditional Christmas story. This was supposed to be the 27th that this happened. It was supposed to be, because most of these holidays last 3 days because of the moon cycle. So, backing up a little bit for context, um, when you have holidays, if you base them off of a lunar calendar, the North American lunar calendar, traditionally holidays are 3 days. So the date of the holiday, the date before, the date after. It's the same as the full moon. It's the same as, like, you know, Easter. Easter is technically 3 days. Three. Over in London, they actually do celebrate around Christmas, like Christmas, Boxing Day, things like that, where it is 3 days. People in the United States, it's usually like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then the day after is a holiday for the majority of people. Not all people, but majority of people. So this practice has been happening for a very, very long time, and um it's not wrong. It's not unusual to celebrate a particular holiday for 3 days, and the three is very specific. It's a very specific number, but there was a very specific reason why it was supposed to be on the 27th and not the 25th. But this wouldn't even fall in with the whole high holy holiday unless you were doing it the day after on purpose. But um I know that sounds crazy, but this is what I'm hearing. Like, she's explaining the High Holy Holiday to me. And I believe I know what she's talking about, but I want to do research before I say that out loud. Um, but I have a fairly good idea what she's talking about. Um, she's also just showing me tons of images, like a blue knitted sweater, like knitting and baby stuff. Huh. There was supposed to be another baby. And when I say this, I don't mean that Patsy and John were supposed to have another baby. There was supposed to be another baby involved in this situation. And baby could be anything from newborn to 5 years old, but there was another baby involved, or it was supposed to be, and it didn't happen. It messed it up and messed up everything, and there's just so much money. There, I think if you really look at the finances, you would find that they were bleeding money, hemorrhaging money, waterfalls of money that were gone. And I don't think anybody saw it. I think people covered it up or they didn't notice. And I want to go back to a statement that was made by I think it was the mayor of Boulder or the police chief of Boulder during that time, right after Jean Bonnet was murdered. And he said that there was not a murderer loose in the area, that the neighbors and people of Boulder, Colorado did not have to worry about, oh God, they didn't have to worry about um, somebody coming in and kidnapping their children or murdering them. He was right and wrong. Um, Boulder is a porthole. I just want to let you know that there is some really negative energy there, and this is what started it. And events recently um, have kind of proven that, but this was a catalyst of something so much bigger. There was always a lot of darkness around Boulder, but after this ritual took place, the Jean Benet, and yes, I'm calling it a ritual, um, it it opened up this really evil portal. Bad, 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 bad. There's a lot of bad stuff there. And it directly came from this murder, this ritual that happened with Jean Benet. And it didn't work the way it was supposed to because something happened with the plan and something happened with this baby that it didn't work out the way that it was supposed to. But you are going to start seeing a lot more darkness in that area, in the surrounding area. There's going to be a lot of bad stuff that's going to be happening. In the next 5 years, you're really going to see it. And this is because somebody brought this about. Somebody kind of opened up the door and let the darkness in and welcomed it. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna stop this video now because she has pulled back her energy, but she's gonna talk to me later because she said she would. So I'm just gonna stop that for now. Before I go, I want to quickly thank my friend Beth Ann for her beautiful earrings, and I'm gonna be leaving the link in the description box, and my friend Melissa Blue Delish for the beautiful necklace. Now, I do purchase this. This is not sponsored in any way, but this is stuff that I love my friends. I support my friends. They support me. So this is the things we do for each other. As you know, we tell you, look at the beauties that I got from my friends that they made, and look at the beauties that they sell. And guess what? Here's a link to them. So please check them out. Please, please, please. All right, everybody have a great day or night wherever you are. Remember that every single day is a gift. Use your time wisely, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.